Hey, oh, I didn't bring my microphone up. Hello, hello. We are just going to hang out. Thank you for seeing my very quick notification. I am doing what I can this year to make sure that everything that I'm managing all at once is feeling sustainable and exciting and joyful. Hello, Danya. Hey, Emily. Hi, Mary. Hey, Jen. Elizabeth's here. Brenna's here. Is it Brenna? Yay, Dakota. Hey, welcome everybody. I am just doing the best of uh, keeping this as sustainable as possible. And I actually thought last night, I knew Friday, once I got off the live stream at Sarra Cannon, I was like, okay, I need a break. I definitely need a break. Thursday was too busy. Last week was too busy. And so I took a break. I did not go to the Chloe Gong signing. I didn't go anywhere. I slept 10 plus hours and got up Saturday. We did a lot of family stuff. We really just rested. We had a restful family day on Saturday. And then I was thinking we were supposed to have a date night last night with some of our friends. So a double date night. And Evie wasn't feeling great. Andrew went straight to sleep, so he was not feeling great. George had a headache, and the couple that we were supposed to go out with, the dad also wasn't feeling well. So something is going around, and I'm just like, I do not want to get sick. I want to stay as healthy as possible, which means as much rest. So what I thought was, hey, Christina, what I thought was I will just do like a cozy writing night in my life last night. So I like recorded the sunset. I was going to take a bath. But then I had some of my friends, I was talking about some of my plans for next year and kind of stressing about making choices about different things. And they were like, let's get on a Zoom call and just talk it through. And we talked for 4 hours. So I did not get anything recorded. I did not go to sleep until super late. So this morning I didn't even have time. Like, this is bad hair day central because I just had to get up and go to church this morning. So sustainability sometimes can look like this, where it's messy a little bit, where you just can't get every little thing together and it's not going to be perfect. But at the same time, we can't keep ourselves from showing up in ways that are fun and sustainable just because it's not going to be perfect. Like, I could have decided, oh, I can't go live because my hair doesn't have curls in it or whatever. And 99% of the people coming on don't really care. Or don't judge it as harshly as I would. The bow is cute. I do like the bow. But also, sustainability doesn't have to mean a perfectly edited vlog or a specific plan. It can also just be like, you know what, let's just go live for a few minutes instead and talk about goals. So that's what we're going to do. The bow fixes everything. I know, it's like you could put a headband in, you could pull it back into like a clip and it would be fine as long as you have cute earrings. I feel. So yeah, I thought, you know what? I don't have any recordings, so we'll just go live. And I'm so glad that some of you found me. This is so fun. Welcome. How cute is this sweatshirt? This I got from the Fabled Bookshop, which is the bookshop that I often write at when I do writing retreats in Waco. And it says "Here to Drive the Plot," but it's kind of in this Pretty Little Liars font, which I really, really like. It's really fun. So yesterday, and well, I guess I'll say I actually get to wear a sweatshirt in Texas today because we are under a freeze warning. It's currently 60 degrees. So it's not super cold. It was supposed to be highs in the 50s, but you know, it's Texas and it gets warmer than you think it will. So we were expecting really cold. We actually just bought a little bit of firewood on our way home today because it's getting down to 33 degrees tonight. So when we wake up tomorrow morning to take the kids to school, it's going to be in the 30s, which for us is super, super cold for November. You guys got a dusting of snow last night. So fun, Francine. I love that. I just happened to be watching YouTube playing Animal Crossing and saw your notification. Welcome, welcome. First snow day in Detroit. Yeah, I love that. I love that. My hair's in a messy bun. I feel like since my hairdresser cut my hair so much shorter than I wanted, like I just left so sad. It has taken months for it to grow past my chin, and I still can't even put it up in a messy bun very well. So eventually it will grow back, but man, it is so disappointing when someone cuts your hair in a way you don't like. I've been in burnout for over a year, excited for ideas that are coming. Christina, I'm so glad that you're getting ideas. That is really exciting. Near Toronto, it's a few inches. Yeah, I imagine you guys get a lot more snow. I would love to be in Texas. I hate the cold, but my husband and oh, you guys want to move here? Listen, we have been so happy here. The weather is definitely hot in the summer. Like it's hot, but it's not as humid as like living on the East Coast. I feel like Charleston, North Carolina, Georgia. It's like 85 degrees and you're sweating. But here it's mostly not humid. It's just hot if you're in the sun. But the air isn't as hot. I don't know if that makes sense, but spring here. Hey, Natalie, still have the occasional fire. It can snow Christmas on the mountain. Oh my gosh. Just got home from a friend's book launch. Open YouTube to see you alive. Yay for book launches. That's so exciting. Low buns work too. I think that's what I would have to do. I can do a clip. Like if I pull it, that like alligator clip, as long as I use some bobby pins, I can get it done. I don't know how many times the hairdresser of my hair and where did like, I don't know what you're saying, Jesse. Oh, be in the bathroom crying. Oh my gosh. Yes. She has done such a great job with my hair for so long, but she was talking a lot this last time. And I just was like, I think you're going a little too short. She's like, no, it's going to be fine. I'm like, when it's dry, it's going to be shorter than I want. And she's like, it's going to be great. And then I could see that she realized she had done it unevenly. And in order to make it even, she had to cut it. And she was like, do you want to make your next appointment? I was like, no, not at this time. Not at this time. Thank you. Oh, hey, Sarah. Nice to see you. Finally made a live. It's been ages. Nice not just watching replays for once. I know I almost never, I can't even remember a time that I've just randomly gone live on this channel without some kind of plan. So we are here. Thank you so much to everybody for joining us for an impromptu, just kind of rough draft challenge live. And actually, it's a great day to do it because we're a little bit into week 2 of the rough draft challenge. And I would love to hear how it's going for anybody who's been participating. Isn't this so cute? So this is a little cherry. It's one of the Ray Dunn mugs I got at TJ Maxx. This is Mon Cherry. I just think it's so cute. George made me a coffee. Oh, my hairstylist of 18 years retired. Sometimes it is. I went through an entire period in Charleston where I just didn't get my hair done at all because I could not. I was so scared of somebody like, I have very fine. Yeah, you have thin hair too, Christina. I do too. It's like very fine, thin hair. So if it gets too layered or too short, I just feel, but you know what? In the grand scheme of things, it's all good. Loving the Shadow Games reads, very inspirational. So let's talk about Shadow Games. Thank you for being there and listening to that too, by the way. It means so much to me. So I will be recording once we get off this live stream. I'm going to record my plan with me and kind of a gist day for the afternoon. We went to church this morning. We went out to eat at the same restaurant we do every single week. We just walk in at this point because we have the same server every week. And she's the sweetest thing. Like I highly recommend if you do go out to eat like after church or if you have a regular place, like I recommend trying to make friends with the servers and stuff. I feel like when we moved here, one of our first friends was just going into that same restaurant and being like, hey, Wendy. And then now she brings birthday presents for the kids and we bring her birthday presents. And it's just really fun to have something that makes you feel like you're a part of the community, like people that recognize you when you walk in, when you're new to a place. So that has been fun. And then we went to get boba tea. So that was also nice. And then we picked up groceries, put them all away, got the kitchen reset for the week. But now it's kind of like, okay, everybody else is doing their own thing, but I will kind of walk you through a little bit of how I start to plan, and then we'll do a plan with me for tomorrow. But yeah, I am reading. So if we talk about what's the main goal for this week of in terms of my writing, uh, I mentioned this on some of the uh, live streams or some of the vlogs so far this week, that for anybody that doesn't know, or you're just catching this live, or you've never seen my channel before, who knows? So I am currently writing and reading my latest novel, which is called A Mirror of Shadows. It is the first book in a new series called The Shadow Games that is a spin-off connected series to my longer series, which is the majority of these books back here, the Shadow Demon Saga. I am reading them on my other YouTube channel, which is Sarra Cannon, at Sarra Cannon, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And when I first announced that I was reading it, I had drafted the book. I felt like it was all in really good shape. It was just shy of 50,000 words. I was like, this is great. Every time I go, like the night before I read an episode, I can just lightly edit it and we'll be good to go. But that plan of trying to get ahead did not always go as expected, which I feel like is par for the course, right? We as writers, sometimes we sit down and it's time to edit something and we think it's in pretty good shape, or we sit down to write something that we had plotted out, or that we are sitting down and we think we know how the story's going to go or who these characters are. And sometimes we hit a wall where you say, there's something about this doesn't feel right, which is different from resistance. Whereas resistance can often be this feeling of just like, I don't want to do it. I feel scared of it. I feel like I don't know what happens. Whereas really getting intuitive feeling that the story is not coming together the way that you thought, and you starting to get ideas about how it needs to change to be more cohesive or to have better pacing or whatever, it can sometimes be difficult to know the difference between those two things. Am I just resisting it because I'm scared of it? Or do I actually need to make a change? So I am loving the process, but this whole thing is a little bit experimental. During the pandemic in 2020, when everybody found out they were going to be stuck at home for a little while, I think it was March, I decided to write a short story. And I was like, I'm going to read this live on YouTube, and we'll just go live every day for 10 days or something. And it'll be a short story, and it'll be fun for like stress relief for people that are home and feeling scared. Hey, Rachel. And it turned into a whole novel. It was 80 to 90,000 words we read every day. I would write and then we would read. And it became really, really fun. But I didn't get to follow that series all the way through because I didn't expect or plan to slot in a whole new series at that point. And even to this day, 5 years later, I haven't been able to go back and write that series, the rest of that series. But I wanted to try that again with the community and see if we could recapture some of that magic of reading. But my caveat was, I don't want to start reading until the book is done. And then here I am in the situation of, I got about halfway through the book and realized this is going to be, the ending is going to be too rushed. The second half of the book needs more character development, more team development. I got to make some changes. And it wasn't just I'm resisting writing the story. It was very much I cannot let the story go on the way that it is. So I have been rewriting, and for part of it, I have just been making slight changes. But by the time I hit episode 9, which I read on Friday, it's all new words. Everything is new. None of what I originally wrote for the final act, episodes 10, 11, and 12, is usable in this book. It's going to the next book. This is an interesting question. Is a book ever really done? I mean, that is so true, because as we grow in our own skill, in our own awareness, as we read other people and we get inspired, as we learn how to write better characters or better dialogue, there's always going to be opportunity for changing our story and growth. And so one of the hard things as a writer can be, how do I know when it's done enough that I can publish it? And, when you're traditionally published, you have a hard deadline, right? Like your publisher is saying, I need this book turned in by this date. And then they kind of shepherd you through the process if you have a good editor of editing it, cleaning it up, getting it into better shape. But there are multiple pit stops along the way. It's like, let's turn in the outline, let's turn in the super rough draft, let's turn in the first half, and you've got a partner with these deadlines throughout. When you're indie, you can still have a partner, an editor that you're working with, but it feels a little bit less like a set deadline because it's not a publisher that's waiting on printers and other things like that. It's sort of self-imposed deadlines. And for those of us that are procrastinators at heart, sometimes that is really difficult. Plus, also, we could technically just continue to edit and tweak and change forever. And so one of the most challenging things when you're on your own or when you're writing your first book that you don't have an editor for yet is figuring out, how do I know it's done? How do I know it's ready to go? So with this particular series, it's like I have no words written, 0 words written for episode 10, but I am reading it in 25 hours from now. So slightly crazy, but I also have a safety net because I know many of you here are thankfully reading it. I'm hooked on it, really enjoying the story, loving A Mirror of Shadows, loving A Mirror of Shadows. So some of you are here, but it's not the same thing as a printer is waiting for me. If I went live tomorrow and said, guys, I do not have the episode ready, it's not good enough, maybe there'd be some people upset or disappointed, but only because they're enjoying the story, right? Nobody who's not enjoying the story cares. So that gives me at least a little bit of less stress, knowing that if I needed to, I would have the support of my community to say, it's not ready yet, it's coming Wednesday or whatever it has to be. But I'm gonna have it done. It will be done, but it's going to mean a lot of work over the next 24 hours. And then again, on Wednesday, I'll need another new episode. And then Friday will be the end of book 1. I already can see ways that once all 12 episodes are done and read to the general public on YouTube, I'm going to take that story back and I'm going to write more connective tissue, my friend called it. And I was like, that's a great way to put it. Hey, Amy's here. Hello. I'm going to write more to connect some, to have a little bit more between Bex and Callie, a little bit more between maybe some more extra POVs. I'm not sure what that will look like. So I'm going to need a few weeks to edit it, but I also want to be starting the second book. So there's a lot going kind of on in my mind. And yeah, see, this is the thing. Anyone who cares will understand if you need more time. I'm enjoying the story, but I want you to do things at the best pace for you. And that is such a beautiful gift of writing for a community and building a community rather than just being like, and this is not a judgment, I'm just talking, but like giving experience is like, there are many ways to do this career. Even in the indie world, there's like thousands of different paths that you can take. And many authors I know have no community that they're trying to build. They just focus better without any input or distraction, or they feel that it's distraction, and they don't have a lot of interaction with their fans beyond like, okay, I post to TikTok, but I don't really read my comments, or I don't do whatever, or they're not trying to build community. They're just posting on social media, and it's not like where they're interacting a lot. And instead, the majority of their like sales and newsletter and stuff comes from Facebook ads or recommendations from other people, cross promotions and stuff like that. And that is probably a more lucrative way to run your business in a way than what I do. But I have always felt that community is just where my heart is. And I think it's probably obvious to those of you that are around Heart Breathings and Sarra Cannon, community and making, like for me, when I started writing, it just was suddenly like, I felt that I was a part of something greater than myself. Like, wow, there's this whole world inside this book that I feel like I'm now a part of, because as I'm reading this point of view, I feel like I'm in the story myself, like I'm living it. And that ability to travel the world, get so much like knowledge emotional expansion, just all of that stuff meant so much to me as a young child in a home where I didn't realize that at the time I was being emotionally abused. And I just clung to that so much of like, I can belong to something besides just this situation that I'm in or not being popular at school. Anybody else not the popular girl? My sister was actually very popular, but I was not popular at all. And I never really felt like I belonged or fit in when I was growing up. And so books made me feel like I belonged to something, like I fit in, like I was understood, like, oh man, that's exactly how I feel. And I've never had anyone express it that way. And so my core value as a writer is trying to build that and create that for other people. And because we have this amazing gift of the internet, it is like creating, yeah, exactly. It's like creating your own writing family, your own reader family. It's like being able to create something in my mind and then pass it over to someone else who is seeing the same thing and feeling the same thing and experiencing the same thing that I created. It's just such a magical, like, one of a kind experience that I hope that I get to continue to do for the rest of my life. And that, yeah, found family is in every single book. Like every book I write has found family. And often I do write like orphans, foster children, people that have lost their families, or like in Eternal Sorrows, everyone's family dies within the first act. And I think that I do that because it creates the perfect vehicle for found family and finding your own people. And so we do that through writing as well. And I love it. It goes both ways though. We want you to be well and succeed where you pay forward so much of you and your experience. And that, oh, do you live in Dallas? Because I would love to know. I will find a great hair. I felt like she was good until this last time. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I feel like when I am thinking about this process, it is a little bit like reading it as I go is a little bit scary. Somebody said I would die of stress. It is a little bit stressful, but it's right now it's a good kind of stress. And if it turns to a negative type of stress, I'll just take more time off and that will be fine too. And knowing that I have that level of support where it's not going to be like an angry mob or people that just will disappear makes it so much better. And that is partially because I have spent the time building that community and those relationships. And I think it is definitely a valid way to build your author career as well. But as I sit down, I have two planners that I will work in. And I'm not sure when I do my plan with me, if you guys will get to see both of them. But I have my HB90 planner. And when I'm setting my writing goals for the week, I'm thinking only about those 3 episodes. So right now, actually, oh man, I was going to say I should open my reward for 10,000 words because I did hit 10,000 words on Friday. However, it's in George's closet because I had to hide my rewards from myself. So I'm going to text him and see if he's around to grab it. So give me a second. I'm going to do speech to text. Hey babe, can you look in your closet and see if there's 2 Tokidoki blind boxes and bring them to me? I think I put them kind of by the bookshelf or the batteries. Sorry. We'll see if he sees it and really, because I earned it. I'm gonna open it. So I get the reward, but now I think if I look, let me see if I can just pull up the website real quick. Oh, I don't remember which login because I've started so many. Okay, so I am at 10,000-ish words. I haven't updated the site, but on the 9th, I should be at 15,000 words. So I'm about 5,000 words behind, but I need to have about 3,500 to 5,000 words by tomorrow. So I think I can catch up this week, but I'm writing 3 episodes. And because they're the end of the story, it's going to be fast paced. I hear footsteps, you guys. Yay. Thank you. All right, so the Galactic Cat one is the one I get at 20,000. So we're gonna set this over here so I can see it to look at it. That's the Hello Kitty collab. The one that I am gonna open is the Tokidoki 20th anniversary set, and I don't know how well you can see these, but they're so stinking cute. I just love it. Special delivery, right? So sweet. I'm completely in for a dated daily like the rough draft. I love those sheets and the game board and the review sheets. I do tend to assign myself too many things. Yeah, that is good feedback. Thank you. Because it won't take me that much to create a whole year planner. Yes, Laura, they are little figurines. So I'll show you in a second. Evie likes to play with mine, but they're like, I have so many of them on my shelves. Like you can see kind of one of them right here. That's a Galactic Cat one. I've been collecting them for like 10 years. So totally need a magical closet to hide my rewards. I like to, like I said in the opening video, like I like to buy them ahead of time because I don't want to be like, I earned it. Now let me wait 2 weeks for it to get here or whatever. I want it immediately when I earn it. So I want to keep this box intact to a degree, but I don't know if I can. Let's open it from the bottom. So this week, word count goals. I need those 3 episodes completed. That's all I'm going to focus on. I'm not even going to think about what comes next week. So 3 episodes, we're going to say 12,000 words, but I think it might be more. Between 12 and 15,000 words is my goal. So when I start thinking of my goals this way, oh my gosh, which one? Okay. Do you guys do that? Like feel it and try to decide which one? I think, oh, there's a sticker. I lost it. Like a 20th anniversary sticker. That's going to go on my planner. All right, let's open. Evie will be so sad she missed it, though, because she loves to watch me open these. Evie will watch me open it and then be like, that one's mine, right? Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. This is so beautiful. It's like so shiny and beautiful. Oh my gosh, she's like a little bride. What does it call her? She's the 20th anniversary Najiko. I usually have the like Donatella or the Unicornos or like Mozzarella and Adios I really love, but I have never had this character before. She's so beautiful and she's like all my favorite colors. Okay. She's going to be the guardian of my desk for the next 3 weeks. I love it. Oh, yeah. So this is where I take out my calculator, my phone. I just got a new case on my phone. It's so cute. Okay. I take out my calculator. This is exactly how I do it. So if I say, let's say 13,000 words. I was going to say 12, but I'm like, I think it's going to be more. So if I say 13,000 words, I will divide that by my average word count per session, which is usually 25 to 30 minutes. Right now, we've been a little bit under 650 words. So I think I probably should, instead of using my typical 650, I think I'm going to go down to 500 because I've been getting a lot of 300 and 400 writing sprints. So if I do 13,000 divided by 500 words, I get 26 words or 26 writing sprints that I need to do. So 26 sprints at 30 minutes each means I need 13 writing hours this week. Okay, we can do this. 13 writing hours this week. So as I sit down to do my plan for the week, I will have that number in my mind because this is where I was running into problems before I started being more successful finishing a book. Like I realize it has been a year since I published my last book, but it was 3 years or something before that. So I have gotten a little bit faster and I'm going to be starting book 2 right away. So I feel like I am back into a good groove and I want to stay in it, which means for me, as I start thinking about my priorities, number 1 priority is the family and the kids. So George's dad is not doing amazing. He might have to fly out at some point to go help him in North Carolina. So I am definitely ready to drop everything and tell people, look, we're going to need a couple weeks if that is the case. And I'll just take the time and I won't stress it. And I feel like that is growth from where I would have been a couple of years ago when I would have just been super stressed about that. But just saying, okay, family comes first. We'll do what we got to do. Hopefully he's fine. Everything's going to be okay. But if we need to, I will drop everything. Andrew has a spelling bee this week, and he has baseball playoffs. So we also have some of our final rehearsals for Evie's dance recital. So we've got a lot of stuff. On top of that, the kids are out of school on Tuesday, and I have to go in and help with the 8th grade art project on Thursday. So part of what you'll see when I get into my planning, which I'll record a plan with me and like a getting ready for the week, and that will be tomorrow's vlog. But I'm just kind of walking you through it a little bit now in case anybody's planning their time. Where I was running into problems over the last few years is I wasn't even setting a writing goal in terms of let me write 10,000 words this week. I would just plan all the things that have to get done. I got to get a video done. I got to get this newsletter out. I need to be posting on Instagram. I got to take Evie to dance class. And I would plan all that stuff first. And then I would be like, well, I guess I have time to write on Monday morning, and I'll try to fit some in on Tuesday. And then as I would get into the week, I would hit resistance where I would say, I don't really feel like writing. I'm kind of tired. I don't really know what I'm writing next in the story. And I would just avoid it. And because I didn't have it planned first as a priority, it was so much easier to just give in to the resistance and say, it's all right. I didn't really have a solid goal this week. It's just going to be another week. And that meant years went by with no books. And it's not that that is something worth judging myself. There are plenty of writers who have been major bestsellers who had years where they didn't have a book release, right? Like that is true. And sometimes we're harder on ourselves than anybody would ever be on us. But if you want to be a full-time writer as an indie author, you really can't go 3 years without a book release and expect your sales to stay up. And that's just the reality of it. So I'm getting back into it, but part of what has to happen with the writing goals themselves is I have to say, this is a priority. Like obviously the kids come first, the things that have to get done. However, also, yeah, some are coming up on decade 2 between books. That is true too. But it's like, it is a very different experience when you are a major bestseller that when the book finally comes out, every publisher, every bookstore is going to have it front and center. There's going to be massive marketing campaigns with millions of dollars thrown into it. Plus, if you've made millions of dollars in your career, maybe you can afford to slow down a little bit. Or you've got like George R. R. Martin, he's got money coming in from TV shows and residuals and backlist sales and all kinds of stuff. When you're indie, you just don't have that machine of distribution working for you. And so it is kind of always, this is so true. Half of writing is the mental work. And when you are deciding to take your career into your own hands, unless you have another source of income, like your spouse or partner brings in enough money to support you, or you have a full-time job, or you have a second stream of income, it is really difficult to go years without publishing. Yes. I mean, is it book 6? Yeah, I guess it is book 6. I will tell you I think I might have told this story before, but my husband loves the Wheel of Time series. We named our daughter after that series. Like we both love that series. But my sister was like, "Oh, George, I have a series that you would like if you liked Wheel of Time." So she hands him a Song of Ice and Fire series. And he's reading it on the plane. He's reading at that time, I guess it would have been book 3, on the plane to Vegas when we were going to get married. He had book 4 with him because I think at that point, book 5 had not come out. This was 2009. And so he's reading book 4 the whole time we're in Vegas. And the morning we are getting married, had gone down to the beauty salon or whatever to get my makeup and hair done. And when I got back, George just is throwing a book against the wall. And I was like, or is everything okay? Like, we're getting married in an hour. Is everything all right? And he was like, I'm going to kill your sister. And I was like, why? And he said, because she didn't tell him that the series was not finished yet. And he looked it up because he thought, well, we'll go pick up the next book before we hit the airport on our way home. And it was like all these threads about there's been no book for 7 years. He was so mad. He was so mad. He got over it and we had the best day ever, but it was just so funny because it's like, if you're going to hand someone that series, you better tell them that it may never be finished. Oh, you got married in Vegas too? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got married at the Chapel of the Flowers in Vegas. It was beautiful. Beautiful. We spent a whole week there. It was really fun. But anyway, I had never intended to make my fans wait so long for the final book in the Shadow Demon saga. But at this point, I'm feeling, at least right now, not a promise, but I'm feeling really confident that as these books come together for the Shadow Games, that final book of the Shadow Demon saga will also come together and be published next year. And so that's part of what I spent hours on the phone on Zoom with my friends last night, kind of talking through, because it was like, next year is going to be big, right? Because I'm publishing book 1 of Shadow Games right now. I'm going to be writing book 2 before the end of the year, reading it on YouTube, books 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the first half of next year. And then I'm hoping next summer, book 12 comes out. And if I can do all of that, if I can actually stick to it and make it sustainable, I will feel so dang proud of myself. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. You're looking happier than the last time I was online. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I was in burnout for sure. I was like, I'm just going to pop on for 20 minutes and we're here for 40. So it's fine. We're here longer than I thought. I got married in Vegas back in 97. So awesome. We got married in 2009. And this December then will be our 16-year anniversary. 26 years ago on Thanksgiving at the chapel by the courthouse. Almost happy anniversary to you, Augustina. That's so fun. It is difficult to balance building a backlist, writing to publish, and working full-time and caregiving full-time. So the thought of trying to also build a social media presence is like, no. Yeah. And, I think the key thing to remember if you're looking at building an indie career for yourself is that there really are no rules to it. There are things that you can see other people doing that work, but there are people who have almost no social media presence who are making millions of dollars. Like one of my good friends has no social media and she makes millions of dollars a year. Another guy friend of mine, same thing. He does, however, write 6 books a year, but he makes bank and he's not on social media at all. But he takes out ads. And so it's like, you got to find some ways. My other friend that writes that, doesn't have social. She doesn't do many ads. She does a little bit of ads, but it's not like a huge part. So it's like, you could point to a bunch of different indies and find different pathways. So don't let anybody tell you that you have to publish a certain amount per year, that you have to write a certain genre, that you have to be published in a certain way, or you have to have special editions. Like there really is no have to. It's just a matter of, you got to find a path that works and gets you to the goals that you have. So for example, if your goal is to make a full-time living of 6 figures, let's say, you have to at least be putting yourself in a position where you can sell that many books. You can have enough discoverability of people in your genre or whatever else. And if you can't find that piece, then you have to add something else to it, right? And it's hard. Oh, you just started a mystery novel for the first time. Dakota, that's so exciting. Are you going to be, are you talking about that on your YouTube channel too? I would love to see. And for the love of God, you do not have to do it all to be successful. That is so true. But sometimes we just feel like, what if that's the thing that makes me break out? What if that's the thing? What if that's the thing? And then by trying to do it all, we end up not being able to get anywhere. And I feel like this is sometimes a problem with me, is like, because I have like courses and 2 YouTube channels, 2 Instagrams, I can't ever get to quite the level that I would want to be in every single career. And so as I'm thinking through 2026, I have to start thinking, where am I getting the most result? Where is my community really feeling the most supported? Where where am I most passionate about showing up, and really asking myself those things instead of just doing stuff that doesn't feel great. It's like these vlogs are really important to me, and it's not about how many views it gets. It's just about showing and being able to share what it's like to really be an author who has a busy life trying to write a book and be successful in this. And so I'm going to take you guys through the entire publishing process of this next book, the editing process of this book, because it will all be coming, like the book will be coming out this month. And that is part of what's crazy, but also possible as an indie author is like I'm still writing it right now and it will still come out this month. And I love that fast pace and being able to do it. Not every indie author does it that quickly. Some people take months for edits. I'm not going to. This book will be out in November, and I'll share that with you guys. Yay. Oh my gosh. The recent vlog, you were nervous just because I was so busy. I was so happy in that vlog. I wanted to say thank you for the vlogs lately. I'm a newer writer. It's been so motivational to see. Thank you so much. I think I'm doing a much better job preserving my energy and just understanding when I need to take a couple of days of break, and understanding that like my community has my back, right? So it doesn't really matter if I show up live like this is super fun. If there's no vlog, that's fine too. And I think that's where I'm just sort of taking some of the pressure off my shoulders. But I would love to do an early morning sprints and one day on the weekend. It's when I work on the series anyway, but I have no idea how you do your background and timers. If you want to come sprint for us in the Heart Breathings writing community and you want to do some early morning sprints, we would love to have you. Angela and I are currently putting together an application form, but we will show you how to do all that stuff. You can kind of apprentice with one of us and we'll show you all the tools and everything that you need to get it done. You created a new subgenre, suspense fantasy. It does keep you on your toes, right? It's very fast paced. I've been binging your old November vlogs. You keep me company all the time. Thank you for that. So that is my plan. When we get off this live stream, I'm going to find those 13 hours first. So obviously what I'm going to do, and I'll actually show you this in the plan with me, is I will write out the things that are set in stone first, like the spelling bee, other things like that. Then I'm going to look for, where do I have those 13 hours? And for me, preferably, I want to try to spend 3-4 hours in a stretch at a time. But I encourage you, when you're doing your plans, to really think about, how do I work best? Not just, I've got 13 hours to write, I'm going to try to put it in a 6-hour stretch, but saying, do I do well with a 6-hour stretch, or do I do better with an hour here and an hour there? Because 13 hours, you could do an hour in the morning and an hour at night, 6 days this week, and be almost there, right? So it is a lot of writing time. It's more than what I normally would put myself through, but we're going to do it. And if I can't do it, I'll push the book out another week and it'll be fine, the episode. I will send an email when we're ready for applications. We will send an email out to the whole Heart Breathings list. And I'm hoping it'll go out next week, and then we'll start searching through. And you don't need to have done sprints before. And if anybody wants to just do a trial sprint, maybe you could come on with like Angela. We can have a few people come on and host with her, like a co-host, and you can kind of get a feel for it. Like, do I enjoy this? Does it make me nervous? Does it seem really fun? And it's okay to be shy. You don't have to be like upbeat. You can just be yourself. And that is totally fine too. A lot of people like very chill, just, it doesn't have to be anything that doesn't feel authentic to you. Seeing this channel helps me believe that I can write what I love and people will be there. It is true. And I think it's one of the greatest gifts, but it also becomes a challenge because you do have to consistently be thinking, how does this work for me? How does this look for me? But there have been so many things in my career that people have said, you can't do it that way. That's not going to work. But I just knew in my heart that it would. And I really try to trust myself as much as possible. And I just say, well, it will or it won't. Like people said, don't do planning stuff. You can't do planner stuff and writing stuff. And maybe it is true that my channel does not have as many subscribers because I haven't done only planning or only writing, and I do both, but it makes me more happy. And I find the people that were meant to find my channel. And that to me is so much more important than the number of subscribers, right? And I am over the moon about the number of subscribers and having 200 people here when I didn't even announce this. Like that makes me super, super happy. So sometimes when people are giving you advice about what to do in your career, they're assuming that you expect to be at the top of the pile, but sometimes the top of the pile means too much sacrifice of the things that we love. And sometimes we just have to think, but how do I want to do it? How do I want to do it? Not how does everybody say is the best way to do it? How do I want to do it? But we also have to marry that with, but what's actually going to work? And sometimes that takes a bit of experimentation. And so give yourself that permission to try your own way, but also learn as much as you can about what is working, how to make it work. Look for people who are doing it similar to you and take inspiration. All of that stuff helps. So, yes, the application will go out in email probably next weekend. What channel so much? I'm in my second year of college and I'm using all the planning support and writing motivation to help me get through my finals in the quarter system. You can do this. I know you can do this. Sustain growth rather than flash and burn. And it's also true. Like some people that have millions of subscribers or hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, they don't have community. Like it's just people that found one viral video and subscribed, but they don't actually stick around and watch. And so it's often like we can't always judge ourselves based on someone else's numbers because their goals might be very different from our goals. And so before we go, since I've already talked more than I anticipated, which surprises no one, give yourself permission as you're thinking about your writing goals, whether it's for this week or for 2026. We are gonna do our plan your writing year strategy for next year. And I'm adding some cool stuff to that free live stream. If you've never been around for that, every year I do a live stream in early December with a workbook to sort of plan out what your strategy for your writing is for next year. So we will be doing that again. Probably the very first weekend in December on Sunday. I'll post it and let you guys know. But thank you, Mary. But I want to give you that last little bit of encouragement is just as you think about what you really want to do, whether it's next year, this year as a writer, next week as you're working on Rough Draft Challenge, really give yourself permission to say, but what makes me happy and what do I want to do? And stop worrying so much about what people say is going to be most successful. Because I'll tell you that sometimes the real breakout success, the real people that find the happiness and the longevity of not somebody said, not flash and burn, but just really sustainable careers. Like there were tons of people that started in indie in 2010 when I did that just went straight to the top. And I did not. I was doing well, but I wasn't number one. I've never hit the New York Times, like any of that are no longer around because it wasn't a sustainable career. And so we're so trained to judge based on, well, who has the most followers, who's making the most splash, who's got the biggest ranking, who's got the most reviews. But the truth of a sustainable career is not told in those numbers. The truth of a sustainable career is just the quiet, personal life that you live with your family, with your friends, with your relationship to your craft and your writing. And that can look any way. And in the other, any way that you want it to look, you can find a way to make it look that way. But there is the reality also of if you want to keep doing this, there may be a certain threshold of income that you need to have. And so sometimes you have to put on both of those sides of your brain of saying, okay, this is how I want it to look. And I give myself permission to want it this way. However, how am I going to hit the income I need and still keep this sustainable? And I feel like that is a constant balance. It's a constant balance. And I think that's how I ended up in burnout earlier this year. And hopefully you're seeing a difference in my energy because really and truly what happened was I was moving very deeply into burnout last November at the end of finishing Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw. I just pushed too hard. And then I ended up sick and I did not give myself enough time to recover from that pneumonia. And so this whole year has been trying to refine that balance of what do I really want this career to look like? What do I really want And how do I make sure that it's income, like monetarily sustainable, but also the way I need it to look, the way that I want my life to be? How do I feel the way that I want to feel? And I don't have all those answers yet, but as long as I keep seeking, I know I'll find it, right? And that is the important thing. All right, 50 minutes in, we got almost a full hour of chat. I am going to go and plan my week. So tomorrow's vlog will be plan with me in my HB90 planner, as well as, if I have time. How cute is this cover, you guys? I just love it so much. This is the Erin Condren Teacher Planner, and this is where I tend to plan out my social media, but I haven't been as active on social media lately. So if I have time, I will add stuff to it. If I don't, I won't. So it'll be a plan with me, a little bit of cleaning, and then it will be writing, hopefully 3,000 words tonight. By the fire, we're going to do a cozy night of writing by the fire. George is going to make us a fire, and it's going to be great. Hot chocolate, all the fun, like cozy vibes. I will not be writing a cozy episode because the last 3 episodes of this is just, woo, it's very intense. Is this the HB90? Is the HB90 planner for sale in your Etsy store? It is, but you have to print it yourself. So right now, the only HB90 planners are printable or digital. So you can put it on your iPad or your tablet or something like that if you buy the digital version, and that's only undated. Or if you want the dated one for Q4, we're kind of already into the second month. That is available on Etsy for printable. I had hoped to have a 2026 printed version, but so far that has not happened. So we're going to keep working. What about the author blueprint from HardyCon? Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up. Where is my copy of that? It's around here somewhere. So we are going to, this is part of the strategy for 2026 that I was talking to my friends about last night. We are going to do an in-person and a virtual HardyCon, and I'm still working through the details of exactly how that will look, but that planner that I made for HardyCon this year will also be available during that time, whether you do attend the HardyCon or not. I just haven't fully decided if it's going to be printed or printable or etc. So TBD, but it is coming and it will be available for everybody at some point. So it's coming, more news as we move forward, but I got to solidify my plans before I promise anything. So yay, you love the iPad version. Yeah, she did a great job. I had a collaborator with that. She did a great job. I want to come to HardyCon. I'm pretty sure May 1st through 3rd, unless we find that there's something else going on that weekend. So tentatively mark your calendars. It will probably be here in the Dallas area, somewhere near the airport. So so much fun. All right, let's get to planning. If you have not done your planning for the week, I highly encourage you to start with, if you're working on the Rough Draft Challenge, start with the idea of how many words do I want to get this week, and then dividing that number of words by the yeah, you just got here. HardyCon in May. It's happening one way or another, imperfectly or perfectly. We're gonna make it happen. But if you take your total word count, like I did 13,000, divided by your average word count per sprint or per hour, for me, it's 25 minutes and 500 words. You will get an estimate of how much time you need to spend in order to realistically hit your goal for the week. So for me, I need to find 13 hours, which means 26 writing sprints. So I'm going to try my best to do at least 5 of those writing sprints today. So that will be in tomorrow's vlog. It'll be up before noon tomorrow. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me for an impromptu live instead of a vlog today. And this is just a reminder that, even if you've said, oh, I'm going to do daily vlogs, or even if you've said this book is definitely coming out this time, or I'll get this to you by this date, it's never worth your mental health or your physical health to push through deadlines that are going to put you in a crisis. And sometimes we do have moments in life where we have to push through deadlines, and it's fine, but pay attention to your body and your mind and know when it's just you're crossing a limit. And I feel proud of myself for being able to do that on Friday, because when I got out of the meeting or the live on Friday, I was like, I paid for tickets to see Chloe Gong. We were doing date night. We had all these plans. And I just said, nope, I can feel myself needing the rest. And so I honored that and I did it. And it is paying off dividends because I feel so much better today. So just a reminder that you have permission to do the same thing. Take care of yourself. All right. I love you guys. I will see you in tomorrow's vlog. All right. Bye, everybody.